recently, while my wife and I and children were doing our yard sale ministry, we had a bunch of stuff laid out, and including some of my theology books from UGST. And a guy came up, older gentleman came up, and he was kind of looking at him, and we started talking to him. As we talked to him, he mentioned that he had gone to, that he was a member at St. Paul's United Methodist Church, which we're familiar with because both of our children went to their preschool program there. And we mentioned that, and he had mentioned how much that he liked the church and he liked what they did. Then his wife began to tell us a story how she was involved, or she had wanted to become involved with their ministry outreach to cognitively and physically disabled people called the Handicapable Ministry. Before she could volunteer, she actually had a stroke, and it turns out that that particular ministry at the church helped take care of her. They helped minister her to her physical needs as well as some of her spiritual needs, and helped her husband with some of her needs, and especially with getting her around when she was paralyzed. She's now mostly recovered, and she plans to be a part of this ministry now that she can get around a lot better. This ministry, called the Handicapable Ministry, it addresses real needs in that particular congregation. The ministry addresses two main needs. The first is the need for this large, mostly older, white or Caucasian congregation to express their love to their neighbor in a very practical way. Additionally, and as part of that, because their congregation is aging, at least even though they're reaching out to a younger kind of demographic, many members of their congregation are having these health problems such as strokes or other issues which causes them to be either physically disabled or permanently, or for a period of time at least. So it is a very real need as far as the church goes. The second is the immediate need of being able to care for the members who have cognitive and physical impairments. In addition to physical challenges, they have felt needs such as having a secure and loving relationship with Jesus Christ, which apparently wasn't being met. And the way I kind of figured that out is because of their mission statement. Their mission statement, after stating that anyone over 16 can be involved, take part in the ministry, it says this: the ministry seeks to encourage every person to discover their confidence and security in God's love revealed in Jesus. This particular congregation is a service-oriented congregation already. St. Paul's United Methodist Church is progressive in the sense that the church is involved in many areas of the community, including their preschool, which we sent our kids to, Sunkiss Preschool. They have English learning classes for the Hispanic population, which live right next door. They have community events such as Easter egg hunts in community garden. And the Handicapable Ministry, although it's new, it is already, or when they started it, the church already had a built-in kind of a philosophy and direction to add programs such as these. It's part of our overarching theme they call, on the website anyway, Give in Love. And this theme is that the church has, while not directly stated on their website, it reflects Matthew 22:39, love thy neighbor as thyself. The webpage states that we give in love to others through our acts of service, both inside and outside the church walls. This statement identifies very clearly their theological and practical base for what they're trying to accomplish. Once again, it says, we give in love. Well, that states what they do. They give, why they do it in love. Through our acts of service, that acts of service, both inside and outside the church walls, they identify who they give this love to. They give it to people inside and outside of the church, and how they do it. So love is identified and stated to be an act of service. Now, while I was doing this program evaluation, the one thing I could not find is any mention or measure of success or specific program goals other than the main goal, which was to be an encouragement and to provide for the needs and reflect a relationship with Jesus Christ in that. Now, here are some of the details of what the ministry does. The Handicapable Ministry provides a midweek Bible service, midweek Bible study in a large fellowship hall. One reason this is advantageous is because the way the church is set up, while their main sanctuary is, of course, accessible and meets with all the laws and so forth, their fellowship hall is much easier to get in and out of. It has a large entrance. It has double doors going into most of the places within the hall, and it has no step downs, and so nothing you have to navigate if you're in a wheelchair or in a walker or unsteady. So in addition to midweek Bible study, they also host very social and mission-oriented events. Some other social events include movie nights and dances and so forth, but they also have mission events, including a Special Olympics project they work on, and some others that aren't just the group getting together to socialize, but they're actually doing and volunteering in the community. They have a team of members who contacts members who become sick. The woman that we met, she was contacted by the group after her husband was rather, after she had her stroke and she was in the hospital. And they helped care for her, and they were the ones that initiated in that particular situation. They knew about it, and they called her and found out what her needs were and what they could do to help. These work together to help address the felt need of spiritual insecurity by showing love and help building relationships. The events, which I noticed I thought was good, the events do not focus on the cognitive and physical challenges, but they do not ignore them either. So they don't deny that people have challenges, but they don't focus on it. It's not a focus on how to best handle your disability or your challenge, but rather we're going to get together and we're going to make a ministry easy and make it convenient for you to come, and we're going to help take care of your spouse or your loved one by taking care of you. The congregation is able to see this aspect of love and service, which is often shown to some of their members that they've known for years, as well as having additional volunteer opportunities throughout. Now, when I considered this particular ministry, I thought about the applications of it. In the church we attend right now, the congregation is relatively large, but there's maybe a handful, probably under 5 or maybe 10 people who have physical disabilities who would potentially get together, and honestly on a Wednesday night, in the way they do it, it would be very challenging because the service is kind of late, and most of the people that I know anyway with some kind of challenge aren't able to come out on Wednesday night anyway. However, there are some applications that can be met when it meets the specific needs of the congregation, and there's elements of this ministry that can be applied elsewhere. Applications include, the main one is a theological application. The theological base of this program is built on a supposition that love is demonstrated to others through service. Love isn't restricted to people inside the church, nor is it restricted to people outside the church. The same goes with service. So it's not an outreach ministry and it's not an in-reach ministry, it's a ministry. Service is further demonstrated to include physical, emotional, and spiritual acts, so that there's the physical acts of helping a husband whose wife just had a stroke by offering encouragement and helping them get to church, transportation needs, helping him address the needs and providing some relief for him so he can take part in church and as well as be with his wife and care for her. Because it addresses a wide range of needs, not just the physical or not just the spiritual, it kind of nullifies the contention that I've heard before anyway, that service ministries only provide service, they don't present Jesus in them. This theological understanding, with its focus on God's mission rather than self-care or outreach, for that matter, is an important need in every church. Another application is a practical application. While this program is targeted to a select group, many whom suffer strokes or other medical issues, the concept that people need to encourage other people is universal. And here's where one of the things I really appreciate about this particular ministry, or I liked when I read about it after I had heard about it from a neighbor. A survey would reveal or just talking to people, that a lot of people feel discouraged, of course, sometimes in their walk with God or just in life in general. Encouraging them in Christ, whether they're disabled, single parents, amputees, just normal everyday people struggling through life, non-native speakers, or what have you, it requires that love manifest as service. It means something to say, I love you, let me help you, or I love you, let's go to Bible study together, and pick up a need. And so that's the practical aspect of it, is kind of building that that sense into the church community, where they recognize that love is demonstrated by them to others, rather than having this idea of love is just an emotion and just a feeling, and we come to church for therapy. Thank you very much.